Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Doctor's Review, and also my first episode or video on YouTube. Yay. And before we say anything, please subscribe, down there. Well, I think it will be here. Right, so today's episode we're focusing on the first Doctor, who's played as William Hartnall, also known as Bill Hartnell. And we're going to start off on how he interacted with his companions. Well, generally he was extremely grumpy and stuff. He was probably the most harshest Doctor there was for the first 20 years, definitely. But he also had a kind of cheeky side to him, but also he had to have more of a mellow side and more, loving side, especially because his granddaughter was travelling with him, which meant that, it's his granddaughter. His granddaughter doesn't know where the mother was, so yeah, that had to happen. So I've prepared a clip. It starts off with the 10th Doctor with his companion Donna Noble, and they've arrived in ancient Rome, but then he has a flashback back to his first incarnation, which we're focusing on, with his companion Katrina in Pompeii, where he reveals he was responsible for the massive fire there. So I'm gonna show you it right.
Ancient Rome.
You've been here before, then?
Ages ago. Before you ask, that fire had nothing to do with me.
Well, it was you who gave Nero the idea, wasn't it?
I gave him?
Honestly, Doctor, and after that long talk you gave me about not meddling with history, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
It's got nothing to do with me.
You burnt his drawing?
Oh, yes, an accident.
Well, maybe it was, but if
Well,
you
he would have been told someone else. You can't possibly accuse me of for that.
All right, you have it your way, I'll have it mine.
Now, look here, young lady, let's settle this, insinuating that all this is my fault. My fault? Ha-ha!
Well, a little bit, but I haven't got the chance to look around properly.
Right, so that was the first clip of this episode. The next thing I want to go on to is his relationship with his granddaughter Susan, because it's not revealed till 2008, which is about 40 odd years away from when Susan was on screen. She didn't have a mother, so she relied on her grandfather, also known as the Doctor, in the first incarnation, obviously, to look after her. So it became quite a, loving companionship. But the thing that really, really strikes me, and it's been in a lot of episodes, it's really well known, but it's not well known in Susan's farewell, is when he says goodbye to her, because as a parent should do, or in this case a grandparent, he wants Susan to go off in the big wide world and become whoever she wants to be with this boy named Thomas or something. I don't know. And then she wants to she doesn't want to leave her grandfather, but the grandfather persuades her, and eventually she does go, and she's actually not seen until the episode of the 5 Doctors, which she wasn't actually appearing alongside William Hartnall, but Richard Hundrell, because obviously Hartnell was dead and he was the only one that could replace them. But it has no details of how they got back together, because obviously it's focusing on the 5th Doctor. The other 3 that were in it, because Tom Baker wasn't available, were more for the novelty of the 5 Doctors. So I'm going to show you the second clip of the first Doctor saying goodbye to his granddaughter Susan.
Grandma! Father!
Listen, Susan, please. I've double-locked the doors. You can't get in. Now move back, child, where I can see you. During all the years I've been taking care of you, you in return have been taking care of me.
Grandfather, I belong with you.
Not any longer, Susan. You're still my grandchild, and always will be. But now, you're a woman, too. I want you to belong somewhere, to have roots of your own. With David, you'll be able to find those roots, and live normally like any woman should do. Believe me, my dear, your future lies with David, and not with a silly old buffer like me. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Goodbye, Susan. Goodbye, my dear.
Now, the first Doctor was obviously the first to regenerate, and when the show started, it was supposed to only be for 1 year, then, we'll see if it's good or not. But, William Hartnall, he was quite old, and he fell extremely ill, and he couldn't continue with the show anymore, and in order for it to be successful, there needed to be a way to carry it on, possibly without William Hartnall, or including William Hartnall, but that wouldn't be viable. So William Hartnall and some of the producers came up with this concept, not called regeneration, but changing of appearance. That regeneration didn't come along till John Pertwee and Tom Baker. But yeah, so he decided to cast Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor, as you'll see in our next episode. He died of old age, Time Lord's age, about 700 he was. That is extremely old. The oldest incarnation in Time Lord years we've ever seen. And in the episode The 10th Planet, where he has his first confrontation with the Cybermen, they still give me the creeps. He just collapses on the floor in the TARDIS with Ben and Polly. They stood by him, didn't know what was happening. I'm not sure even the Doctor knew what was happening. It never happened to him before. But in the way he regenerated, light came on his face, and he almost like merged with Patrick Troughton's face, because nowadays it's like fires exploding on their head or something. So I'm going to show you the last clip we have of him regenerating, and we're quite lucky to have this because this is recently found footage. So I hope you enjoy it.
What happened to you, Doctor?
Oh, I'm not sure, my dear. Comes from an outside influence. This old body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
What do you mean wearing a bit thin?
Oh, don't worry, child, don't worry. It's far from being all over.
body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
So he gets himself a new one? But it's impossible!
Concentrate on one thing. One thing.
It's over.
Doctor?
It is the Doctor, I know it is. I think.
It's not only his face that's changed, he doesn't even act like him.
And thank you for watching today. Next Tuesday we'll have our second episode of Patrick Troughton, my review of him as a Doctor. Yeah, so please tune into my channel, subscribe, yeah, comment. Don't really care if you're haters because I think you stink. Yeah, so please subscribe and tune into next week. Bye.